Hello and welcome to another episode of The Grindbin. I'm Mike Wood.
I'm Chris Mann.
I'm Bobby Trippett.
And I'm James Farrell.
And today we're talking about 1973's Godmonster of Indian Flats.
Don't be frightened. I've been following you all the way from the glory hole.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I made the team. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
I didn't say it, knocker.
I don't know.
Spooky got no real rhythm.
We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love funny games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
This is Los Angeles.
Oh, the hell with women's live. I'm horny. And maybe Daddy wouldn't have had to kill himself because he couldn't get it up anymore.
What a shame.
It's for jacking off. Come on, just step on the gas before we get creamed. And more.
So guys, we're here talking. We're in December. We made it through Blairvember.
That's right.
Man, you didn't make it through. You weren't even there for the last
I did not.
episode.
No, I couldn't stay in the gang with Linda. I was excommunicated from Blairvember. Her Royal Highness didn't like me, so sorry.
Yeah. You'd had enough of Hasselhoff, so you exited your way out.
Yeah, I soared away with Wingshauser. Fun fact, Wingshauser's dog, his name is Wings Schnauzer.
Stop it. That's not true.
Bobby, start
Believe
the
it if you want.
So, fellas, we have a guest.
Yes, we do. James, why don't you introduce yourself to the Grindbin audience?
James, long-time listener, first-time caller, Yep, that's me.
And a longtime robot.
I prefer Android. now.
Yeah, it's breaking up on our end, James. Hopefully the audience can hear you. That's what editing's for. Otherwise, it's going to be just us three talking to an imaginary person, which would be fun, but we'll... So, James, you're one of our patrons. You requested the movie Hellbent a while ago.
Yeah, that movie was definitely something. I've grown to love it.
That was what the reviews on the back of the box said. Definitely something. Chicago Tribune.
Rex Reed.
Yeah, I'm actually upset man missed that one because it was all about a punk band.
Oh,
And,
fuck, man. God damn it.
Yeah, that was your big hiatus, man, where you
Yeah.
You left for a while, you discovered yourself, and you came back the same person.
Yeah, I found myself in the shower.
You returned from your walkabout and nothing had changed.
Yeah.
So today we are talking about Godmonster of Indian Flats, which is a Blu-ray sent to us by the fine people over at MVD and AGFA. As I have watched the Blu-ray version of this, the quality, as I said, is probably too good. It's a 4K restoration of the only
4K for this?
4K restoration
Oh, wow.
of the only existing 35mm print in existence.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
And you can see every detail on that sheep costume. And it is fantastic.
Every staple in that carpet.
Yeah. This one, though, has a very interesting background, whereas you expect, like, from the quality of the movie, you expect something like, oh, man, what garbage, right?
But it's always the most garbagey films that have the most intriguing background about how they got made. It's always the ones that look like they were hell to get made, that were hell, and that's why they're more fun to hear about.
Yeah, well, this movie was made by a man, written and directed by a man named Frederick Hobbs. Now, Frederick Hobbs had only wrote and directed 4 movies, and this was his last movie.
Sorry, I would have thought this was the first of the 4.
No, no. Well, 2 of them are rated X, and you can't find anything about them, and one of them exists still, and I'm very interested to watch it. But he's like a legit artist. He started his career. He went to college over in Cornell, and then he joined the Air Force, and he was an officer for a while. And then when he got out, he pursued more school for art over in Spain, and furthered his education and opened up an artist studio there. And then in 1963, he created, and you can still find pictures of these online. Bobby, you were calling it parade floats, but they're these bizarre drivable sculptures that he made.
I'd say that's a parade float.
This weird thing that he made, the trio of drivable sculptures that he would put in parades and stuff. They were exhibited in New York and California, and he kind of took off from there. And in 1970, he founded what his long-term art form would be called, where he did his own movement of art, which I guess nobody else followed except for himself.
What a pioneer.
Yeah, he called it Art Echo. And it's
Oh, Jesus.
it's a movement of art to create fine art that centers around technology and an ecologically balanced lifestyle.
Well,
Okay.
And as part of that artistic movement, he made 4 movies. 1969, he started with a movie called Troika. 1971, Roseland. And 1973, the only other movie there's any information about is called Alabama's Ghost. It is about a nightclub janitor who discovers a secret room with a bunch of magicians' belongings, and he tries on the costume, and he becomes Alabama, King of the Cosmos.
Oh man, my favorite comic book as a kid.
Man, Stan Lee, you hack.
And it stars the man who plays Barnstable in this movie.
Really?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. This movie, though, his last movie, Godmonster of Indian Flats, was never theatrically released ever.
That's a crime.
And in fact, the only time anybody ever saw it was in 2001 when Something Weird Video bought the only existing 35 millimeter print and released it on DVD.
Yeah, I understand they bought it for an Arby's beef and cheddar.
Well, times are tough, you know.
Right, yeah. Drive-through only. It was too long to stand in line.
And they got change.
Oh, good. God damn. They used the exchange for the cover art, right?
So after these films, he quit filmmaking, pursued his art, mainly sculptures. He had pieces exhibited all over the U.S. Mainly, he was based out of San Francisco and Oakland. He's written a number of books, and he passed away just last year.
Oh.
But this movie, surprisingly...
Now, when you say he's written a number of books, is this like Rocco's memoirs?
No, they're legit books.
So I won't find a rainbow gradient cover on any of his books.
No.
Okay.
Well, and I haven't looked him up, so maybe.
Never say never.
His first book is called Behold.
No, but it's kind of weird after watching this movie, because I did the research after watching it to learn that this was all self-aware.
How aware can you be in this movie?
So it wasn't that he was, just incompetent. He was trying to make a bad monster movie with an ecological message at the end of it.
isn't that what they all say though?
Yeah, well, that's a good excuse, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this like a Tommy Wiseau type thing where it only became self-aware when everyone got done laughing?
Yeah, it has to be.
And now it's like, I meant to do that.
Because everything's so earnest in it. It can't be like, that's what I was going for, though. Fuck you if you think otherwise.
Well, when I started to go through it again in my head, I was like, I don't know. Now I'm looking back on it. Some of it does seem kind of like it's self-aware. Like, the plot is so crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, you're falling for it, you
Right.
rube.
This movie's a 3-card Monty for Mike.
Yeah. Went from Mike to Mark.
Oh, man. So the cast of this movie, guys, Christopher Brooks, who plays Barnstable, 9 acting credits. He was in 1970's Jack of the Beanstalk, which you can find as a Something Weird release. It's the, quote, groovy version.
Is that
of Jack
also
and
a
the
porno?
Beanstalk. No, I think it's a lot like that movie Tanner made me watch, which was the Red Riding Hood versus the Monsters.
Yikes.
So he was in the director's other movies. He was in Roseland and Alabama, and he was the star of that movie. He was also in 1973's The Mac, though.
Awesome.
And he played the character of Jesus Christ.
Have any of you guys seen The Mac?
I haven't.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
So is Jesus Christ Jesus Christ, or is it like a character going by the name of Jesus, kind of like in The Walking Dead?
Bobby, I have no idea. I saw The Mac when I was in high school, so I have no idea.
Do you think on the final day of filming, when they had the final catering, they had him all sit at the table with him dressed as Jesus and pose for a picture, like the Last Supper?
Yeah, of course they did.
Good.
One of you hoes will betray me.
So in 1973, he appeared uncredited in Clint Eastwood's Magnum Force. And in 1974, now here we go. This is a movie to go seek out. It's called Space is the Place. Have any of you heard of this movie?
Nope. I heard of that song by Space Hog.
Okay, well, this movie is made by a man. It's written and starring a man named Sun Ra. And I'm going to read you the description of this. Sun Ra, space-age prophet, pharaonic jester, shaman philosopher, and avant-jazz keyboardist bandleader, lands his spaceship in Oakland, having been presumed lost in space for a few years. With Black Power on the rise, Raw disembarks and proclaims himself the Alter Destiny. He holds a myth versus reality rap session with black inner city youth at a rec center, threatening to, quote, to chain you up and take you with me like they did to you in Africa. If they resist his plea to go to outer space. He duels at cards with the Overseer, a satanic overlord with the fate of the black race at stake. Raw wins the right to a world concert, which features great performance footage of orchestra. Agents sent by the Overseer attempt to assassinate Raw, but he vanishes, rescues his people, and departs in his spaceship from the exploding planet Earth. Is it a way out?
I was like, thank you for that.
I thought that was going to end with the aristocrats.
Yeah.
Sign
Well,
me up.
does anybody else want to see that? Because I'm on board.
Yep.
Yep. I'll watch it 4 times.
I need to know how that ends. Like, that is... Wow.
We're going to send James in. He's going to watch it for us.
Just bring us back a full report and you can be on the episode with us. And we won't watch it. You can just explain it to us. We'll go, oh, man, that sounds fucking nuts.
Yeah. A lot of yes, a lot of uh-huhs.
It's no different than any man track. It's just,
Exactly.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Just a lot of heavy
Right.
breathing.
Oh, wow. A lot of wows. Excuse me, it's nostril breathing.
Excuse me. Yes, please.
Stuart Lancaster, who plays Silverdale in this movie. Guys, Grindbin All-Star.
What?
He was in Super Vixens.
Wow.
So way back in the
My
Grindbin
God.
catalog when it was
Yeah.
only Man and I.
Right.
Yeah, Super
Before we had
Vixens.
standards.
It's so
Yep.
far back you can't even listen to it anymore.
That's true.
That's what you tell me, so I don't know that.
Yeah,
but,
It's apparently it's digital dust at this point, huh?
It's in the stars now. Yeah, last time I checked, like the first 30 episodes are gone.
fuck it. You know,
Are they on YouTube?
they're on YouTube for sure. Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
And you know how many people watch the fucking Super Vixens one and they go, "Oh, I thought it was the movie."
That's how we get views.
They're zipper bulging, ready to see some knockers.
But he was in another Russ Meyer movie. He was in Good Morning and Goodbye in 1967, and then he was in a movie in 1968 called "Thar She Blows." Which the description is a wealthy industrialist charters a yacht and hires a pimp to bring some women along.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we know how that ends.
Is it a way out?
Yeah. Is it a way in?
He was in Leela in 1968, which is about a topless dancer that attracts, seduces, and then murders the men she sleeps with. She does it with a twist, however. She kills them with garden tools.
Sweet.
He was in 1969's The Secret Sex Lives of Romeo and Juliet. He was in, oh man, this one's got quite the title, guys. 1970, Wilbur and the Baby Factory.
It's about a testicle.
Okay,
So
so
the
Chris
one
thinks
about-
about a testicle. It's
Yeah.
actually about, as an alternative to being drafted, a young man is given the job of fathering 2,000 children for a future perfect race.
It's about. Wow.
So it's a literal baby factory.
Yeah.
1970, he was in a movie called Captain Milkshake. And in 1979, Mistress of the Apes.
Is it any relation to Playmate of the Apes?
No, Chris.
No.
Your favorite high school movie, Playmate of the
Now,
Apes? No.
This
does
was a
not
documentary
relate.
about Jane Goodall.
Yeah. And from the poster, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm posting the poster, by the way, on the Facebook because I copied that one down of it. Yep, not to be missed. Richard Marion, who plays Eddie, I just call him Sheep Boy because he was dressed like a cowboy and hanging out with sheep. So he is Sheep Boy to me.
Yeah, it's the heavy petting zoo if there ever was one.
Oh yeah, he was in Alabama's Ghost. He has 39 credits as well. The only reason I list him here is because, guys, he was in Child's Play 3.
Okay.
Which I'm sure we all agree is the best Child's Play.
Mhm.
Hands down.
I mean, it might be better than that upcoming one.
They're making another.
Oh, there's a whole
Yeah.
thing where this is kind of like what happened to the Jason series. The rights to Chucky and the rights to Child's Play belong to different people now. So while there is another Chucky, that's why all the movies now are called like Cult of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, things like that, and they don't say Child's Play. Now the studio is rebooting Child's Play, but now the doll is called Buddy. I'm sure it'll be fantastic.
And Tom Holland has completely disavowed that piece of shit anyway. So,
Oh yeah, he's got nothing to do with it. He's busy
Yeah.
making his Chucky movies.
yeah.
Well, if it doesn't have a roller coaster, it's not a Child's Play to me. Okay. But guys, at the end of it here, last credit I have. guys, there's a secret Grindbin All-Star in this episode, and we are talking very, very, very far back in the Grindbin catalog. And Chris, did you recognize this man's face, the man who played the sheriff?
It was familiar, yeah.
Yeah, that's because he used a pseudonym, but he is named Robert Hirschfeld, and he is in the cheerleaders as the janitor.
No. Mr. When Is It My Turn himself?
Now that you said that, I totally see it now.
Yeah, he's the janitor from the cheerleaders. He is, When Is It My Turn?
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God.
If you could just apply yourself, you can move up in the world.
He went from janitor to sheriff.
That's right. He had credited himself as Raoul Hoffnung in the cheerleaders.
And henceforth, so shall I.
Yeah.
But somebody put on his IMDb, Raoul Hoffnung is also Robert Hirschfeld. So.
Way to blow the whistle on him.
Yeah. He outed him fucking hard.
When I saw him, I was like, that guy is very familiar, and either he's really famous or he's in a Grindbin movie. And I looked it up. I'm like, hold on a second. And then, yeah, Chris, I imagined that head popping out of the dresser. And I was like, yep, that's him.
When is it my turn?
Oh.
Ouch.
So, guys, we get to the movie. We come up here on scene of the mountains. Then we cut to uncomfortably close footage of sheep.
This is like Ed Wood stock footage of sheep.
At this point, I was like, did somebody, and look, you're in the back of a truck, it's revealed. But at this point, I thought, like, well, they clearly just jumped into a farm and told the camera guy, like, just roll. And then when the farmer comes out, we'll just run, okay?
Yeah.
When you hear the shotgun, get in the truck.
Yeah, because we are in Nevada, by the way, so just, you know.
Yeah.
We'll wait in the car and keep it warm, but if we see him, we'll honk the horn, okay? But no, it's we now reveal that we're in the back of a truck with Sheep Boy, who's supposed to. At this point, you think your protagonist, but he's not. I don't think there's a protagonist really in this movie.
It's the Sheep Monster.
Yeah. It's a real Free Willy.
But Sheep Boy. Now, guys, was he also wearing? So he's riding in the back of a sheep truck, and he's being dropped off in downtown Reno town here, Reno, Nevada. To go gamble in the big city. Mm-hmm. But he's also wearing a vest. Was he wearing a sheepskin vest?
He was.
I couldn't tell. Yeah, I thought it was like some kind of.
And the crazy thing is, they're selling that shit in the women's department in Target right now. Wait, no, it was. I think it was an H&M. I was just at a store the other night with my wife, and I shit you not, I was like, "That's the fucking vest from Godmonster." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Never mind."
Yeah, everybody in the store is just staring at you as you're screaming this in the store. That's from Godmonster.
Yep, I'm getting dragged out screaming about a sheep.
And she's just like, he's my brother. He's my brother.
They're like, yeah, it sounds like it.
So he gets dropped off in the middle of the big city, Reno, Nevada. And so Sheep Boy, he goes into this casino. And from what I can see, like, nobody's there, right?
Well,
he's walking through an empty casino.
Oh, it's a ghost town.
Yeah. And so he goes and he pulls a slot machine and he wins the jackpot. And now all of a sudden there's people everywhere.
Oh, yeah. That's how it works, man. Once you get money. That's why we got to be careful about that Patreon.
Yeah, that's true. So no, Sheep Boy, all of a sudden there are people there. He goes to the bar and like there's this other cowboy sitting there. As we're going to learn, this man's name is Elbow Johnson.
What a great name.
Oh, I know. I loved it. Well, like, I was just calling him Cowboy, and then when I found out his name was Elbow Johnson, I'm like, yes, I hope he sticks around.
Yeah.
He does not.
Sadly.
But Elbow Johnson is hanging out with a bunch of ladies next to the bar, and, he's doing the whole thing. He's like, here, let me buy you a drink, kid. You don't know how to...
Yeah, he tells him he's got to learn how to stand up and take his medicine like a man.
Yeah. Then, by the way, I love this bit of dialogue. I might play this as when he goes into some weird speech about how it's the golden hour, my boy. The sky is filled with bando dust and there's starry-eyed broads everywhere.
Oh, that guy's high as fuck.
And that's when I read, I was like, oh, he's a pimp, right?
You better be with that fucking dialogue, yeah.
His name's Elbow Johnson. Of course he's a pimp.
Yeah. He calls himself Elbow Johnson. He's hanging out with a bunch of ladies. He goes, hey, how about you come party with us? And I'm like, okay, well, party is code for prostitute, I'm guessing.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're in Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, he does say it's all on me. If you're trying to sell it, you're not going to give it away.
Well, that's how they get you hooked.
That's true. You get like the little free sample. It's like a Costco.
God, this is like what the DARE officer told us about.
Yeah, you stick a toothpick in it, and you can give it a little nibble, and there you go.
Yeah. I'm sure we've definitely discussed that before. Like you said, Bobby, the DARE officer comes in. He tells you at some point in your life somebody's going to offer you free drugs, and don't take them. I'm still waiting for that day.
Yeah.
Where's the guy who's supposed to give me cocaine after school?
Well, that's what I thought. I'm walking home going like, well, any day now I'll be getting that coke.
Yeah, I lean against that lamppost, tapping my toe, waiting.
And then some guy's like, oh, you want some weed, son? It's like $60. You're like, what? I gotta pay for this shit?
All you got was text.
That's right. I got text hard.
Yeah, then Elbow and Sheep Boy and the girls ride around the desert while the rest of the credits play. And then they drive into some mining town, and Elbow's giving this like big, speech about how something about how history is all great and like we just need to bring things back to how they were, and it's the whole theme of this movie when we get to this mining town.
Yeah, it's trying to be deeply thoughtful.
So then they stop at a saloon with like banjo players and a piano and all sorts of stuff, right? At this point, it's looking straight out of Westworld because it's basically the whorehouse, right?
Oh, I was thinking about 2000 Maniacs. It's like,
cool.
Yeah, well,
they're about to celebrate the centennial over here.
No, we learned, though, they are celebrating at this town for the week that we're here, apparently, but it's Bonanza Days is what they call it. And it's only dropped one time in the movie.
Huh.
Basically, they're in this bar that's doubling as a whorehouse, but again, we're in Nevada, so it's legal, I guess. And somebody brought a fucking dog into the bar?
Yeah.
You don't bring your dog into the bar when you go?
Well, I did write that this is just like LA.
It's a service dog.
He does get kicked out, like, right away.
Yeah, they did tell the dog, like, hey, you can't drink at the bar. You can go sit in the corner, but you can't drink the beer.
Well, that's a dog that gets a little too rowdy. He's had a couple of incidents. They're like, we told you you're not allowed back here. Get the hell out of here, Dennis.
Someone call that fucker. Call him an Uber.
So the sheep boy is all drunk, and he's some old-timey prostitute. So the prostitutes are not dressed like modern prostitutes. They're dressed like it's the Old West.
Yeah, these are like prostitutes out of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Yeah.
We want the redhead.
Yes, we do.
They've taken that out now. Now the redhead's apparently the hero, the heroine of the...
She's a pirate who's like selling sheep.
Yeah. Oh my God.
This goes all the way to the top.
All the way.
So then, Sheep Boy's
I
all
heard the
drunk.
water of the Pirates of the Caribbean is turning the frogs gay. That's all I heard.
Chris Jones, it's so good to have you back.
Good to be back, Mike. Good to be back.
Sheep Boy, he's talking to this old-timey prostitute, and then she steals some money out of his pocket, and he gets up and he's like, hey, she stole my money. And everybody's like, shut up, get out of here. You're banned from the bar.
Yeah, they tell him he's 86 because they don't tolerate anarchy. We're civilized here. And he says, my sheep are more civilized.
Sheep Boy says that.
Yeah.
And the sheriff kicks him out of the bar, and then the town turns against him, and then guys just start beating him up and throw him out. And now all of a sudden we cut to Sheep Boy. He's in a car with some anthropologist.
Yeah, how did we get here?
Is this guy, so he tells us, like, oh, no, for some reason I live in this town, but I'm an anthropologist at this university around here, and I'm doing all these experiments around the town, and he's like, yeah, here, where do you live, boy? And all of a sudden he's driving him home, like, wait, hold on a second. So Sheep Boy lives in this town? Like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, why would he want to live in that town?
Because I thought he hitchhiked to Reno. And then he met a guy from the same town that he's from who brought him back to town?
Again, for me, at 2 times the speed, I watched this. It's incomprehensible. So I can't give you answers, any kind of dialogue or plot or logic. Just bring on the monster.
But did the anthropologist bring him home or just bring him to the nearest sheep farm?
Pick one, Mike, and let's stick with it.
Like he goes, I'll bring you to what you know best, sheep.
Yeah, but it was all self-aware, though.
Ooh, yeah, it's all self-aware, James. I promise you.
Maybe this guy was also drunk and he thought he was a sheep.
I'll
take you home, little sheep.
It's funny you say that, Bobby, because now it's night.
Right? Or is it just a really bad eclipse?
Was it?
They turned into eclipse. Who knew?
Chris, why don't you explain to us in 2 times speed what happened when Sheep Boy got dropped off and it became night at the sheep ranch?
Well, let's just say there's some flashes in the sky. It plays like a weird Trauma. If like Trauma made Gwar music video, this would be like the intro of it. Because were there like fucking pterodactyls in that shit or what? I couldn't tell.
There's like bones flying around. There's sheep walking at the camera, and then all of a sudden, I'm like,
some of the shots,
and then all of a sudden
there's floating.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's self-aware.
And is it a way out?
Is it? Again, sticker and pin coming from Grindbin Studios. Is it a way out?
That's a good one, actually. You should do that.
It is.
That should just be our show tagline. Is it a way out?
Is it a way out?
Yeah.
So now, after some wild night that we don't know, there's just a lot of flashes in our face, bones dancing around, sheep flying through the air, maybe pterodactyls. It's now morning, and the anthropologist has come back to check on Sheep Boy. So maybe it wasn't his home. Maybe he was just like, he likes to be with the sheep. I'll leave him here. He finds him, guys. He finds Sheep Boy underneath a pile of sheeps with a bloody embryo.
Yeah, he bursts screaming from the hay, and then this sort of pulsating sack.
Yeah. So what happened?
At first I thought the sheeps impregnated him.
Oh, God.
And then overnight he had this weird embryo thing come out of him.
Like he got ganged up on by the sheep in the middle of the night?
Yeah. We're not going to take it anymore.
Oh, man. When Bronson gets word of this. I understand there's been a sheep rape.
He's fucking... You can see the sheep in the interrogation room. He's screaming at it, throwing things at it. Burning it, putting a cigar out on its head.
You just hear the blam, blam, blam. God. There's cotton falling from the sky.
The sheep's on a polygraph.
I meant wool. I don't think sheep are made of cotton.
No, he meant cotton.
I definitely meant cotton. Yeah, that's like you have to pick it from the sheep, right? That's how that works.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's where I thought came from.
Yeah, right. Hand-picked sheep.
I'm from a city.
So the anthropologist, here's the thing. He finds this bloody embryo right next to Sheep Boy, and he's like, immediately knows what's going on. He goes, oh my God, embryo from space or something. And then out of his back pocket, he brings out like a full-size tape recorder, like a giant-ass tape recorder.
Where the fuck did that come from? It's like the size of a light bright.
That's what I say. I was like, does he just carry this around all the time?
Yeah, this is like the recorder from that witch movie.
Well, he's a doctor. You know, doctors need them.
Oh, yeah.
Like even Star Trek had smaller ones than this. Like Bones pulled out one. It's like the size of a Palm Pilot. It's just like, why you don't need it this big in this movie or for a prop to make it practical.
This thing was so big it should have had Big Bird on it.
Right.
It's like he pulled out a Teddy Ruxpin from his back and just started.
That's how he's taking his notes. Just holding a Teddy Ruxpin up to his face.
He's holding up this thing and he's just going on and on about how some sort of space embryo or something. I'm like, oh, okay. So clearly he was looking for it, and he knew like this drunk sheep boy might coerce the sheep into giving him one of these bloody space embryos or something.
And he says that it's the possible result of chromosomal breakdown and cross-fertilization. And when he got to that point, I was like, is he trying to say Eddie fucked a sheep?
That's what I thought. Yeah. That's what I thought. Or I thought, or vice versa.
Well, I still think that's
He did. He saw that guy in the barn. He's like, oh, this guy will fuck a sheep. And then when he brought him in the car, he's like, oh, and he's talking about sheep right now. This works out perfect.
Yeah. Well, it was incriminating when they found a blue chew wrapper on the sheep.
Oh, no.
Well, Chris, you got to get ready in time. Also, we should introduce that there is a character who hangs around the anthropologist who's a woman assistant of his. It says her name like halfway through the movie, but I just had written assistant until then. So she just kind of plays a minor role.
She's sort of the Sherman to his Peabody.
Yes. And she just kind of stands there, and it's like, if they need somebody to be in peril, she will. So Mr. Silverdale, we cut to him, right? So the owner of the town, basically.
And he's watching tourists from a telescope.
Yeah, and he's complaining about the tourists, even though he apparently runs the town. He hates the tourists. He says they come onto this town like locusts. They rain down like locusts. But apparently his assistant who comes up there, who, oh my God, what is his name? His name is Philip. Later on, he was wearing a bunch of leather, so I started calling him Leather Boy. I gave everybody like a cowboy name, so I had Sheep Boy and Leather Boy.
What the hell kind of westerns are you watching?
Well, I'm watching what's put in front of me. So
these are what you think cowboys go by?
These aren't cowboys. These are not cowboys.
Yeah. Can you clarify what kind of cowboys you're talking about?
Well, once we find out where Philip's background is, I mean, Leatherboy makes sense. He's like a city guy.
All right.
Well, because we're going to learn that this movie has one of the most complex stories for a B-movie monster movie that I could ever imagine. Everybody's got some bizarre background, and they somehow all know each other. It's very, very weird.
Yeah.
And at some point, the listeners are going to be like, wasn't this movie about a sheep monster?
Yep.
More or less. But yeah, Phil tells Silverdale that there's a guy here to talk to him to conduct some business, and he won't conduct business before breakfast. It's like that guy at the beginning of the Yeti.
Yeah.
Now, during this conversation, there's a cutaway for a moment, and when they come back, he's suddenly wearing sunglasses.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Did you guys notice that?
Yep.
Well, it's self-aware.
Oh, wow. Guess I'm in no position to say shit about it, though.
No, you aren't. So you didn't get what he was going for with that, you know?
I don't have to explain my art to you, Warren.
Yeah, continuity is just like a state of mind, man. You just, you know.
I'm anywhere I want to be, man.
So, apparently Silverdale is a real stickler for history, okay? And he says he just wants this town, he wants the town of Silverdale, which apparently is named after himself or something, to be just like it always was. Right down to keeping the whorehouse right on Main Street. It's for history.
Yeah.
He is apparently, he runs the historical society, runs the town. This is the old bigwig of the town here, Mr. Silverdale. And he notices the anthropologist and his assistant driving over, and he's like, they're going to Indian Flats to do some more of that science shit. And so we go to the Indian Flats lab, and the anthropologist, the sheep boy, and the assistant pull up to this giant concrete structure, and they bring some sort of sheep fetus inside, that sheep embryo, to run tests in the lab.
Now, on their way in, the car clipped a bush and the embryo hit the ground.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Laddie also got hit in the face with all the branches.
Yeah. He's like, it's going to be okay though, right, Doc?
And he's like, yeah, whatever. And then they bring it inside, and I just write, the anthropologist has been working here a long time because he's found a bunch of weird fossils. And did you notice that one of them he holds up? I don't know if your quality was good enough, but in my copy, it looked like a xenomorph fossil or something.
Yes.
He's been all over the place, man. He's fought the Predator. Like, the fossils he held up looked like the Fiji mermaid.
Yeah.
So then he's like, hey, but sheep boy, I want you to keep this all a secret. Okay. So then we cut to Barnstable, right? This is our first introduction of maybe the protagonist of this movie. About 50 minutes through, they're like, yeah, let's follow Barnstable, right? But right now, he's just viewed as this guy trying to buy the town from Silverdale. And you think like, oh, here's the wealthy land developer coming in trying to ruin the town. And he's like, I'll give you $7 million for your house, $10 million with options. And he's like, no. It's
like Silverdale is the kind-hearted man who runs the toy store.
Yeah, it's like Duncan's toy chest or some shit at this point. He even says, he goes, look, Ulysses Grant himself spoke from this balcony. And then they go inside, and apparently there's already some sort of history party in progress. As they go inside the house, and like he's got all the people in the town who have actual jobs dressed up in cosplay at his party.
Yeah, this is the biggest LARPing event I've ever seen.
Yeah,
anywhere with the most devotion to it.
He has the sheriff playing cello.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought that guy was the sheriff.
Everyone's jack of all trades. Everyone has a hand in something in the town. The sheriff performs at weddings on the weekends.
But apparently everybody is playing their part in this, like, some sort of historical society party where everybody's dressing up all old-timey, trying to keep it how it was.
Which can get awfully hairy depending on what time you're trying to keep it how it was.
Yeah, that's true. But at this point, I'm like, I kind of enjoy the premise of this movie because it's so bizarre.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying all the other random things going around. It's like, it's not just about a sheep monster. It's about this bizarre benefactor of a weird town in the middle of Nevada.
In fact, so far, it's not about a sheep monster at all.
Will it ever be about a sheep monster?
Is it a way in?
So then we cut to Leather Boy, right? And he's now at the dump, and he's just asking some guy who's digging around on a piff helmet. He goes, hey, you found anything interesting?
Like he's combing the desert.
And he's at this big hill that they call a dump. And he goes, hey, yeah, well, that anthropologist, he's always throwing some weird shit out. And Leather Boy's like, hey, Anytime he throws out shit, I need to know what it is, all right? So you call me when he comes here.
Because he says, I've suspected for a long time that something perverse was going on.
A little perverse.
Oh. And so then all of a sudden, guys, Anthropologist shows up and fucking tosses a cardboard box out of the back of his car. It rolls down the hill. Leatherboy opens it and he goes, look at this shit in here. He picks up like a rubber glove from inside the box, and what I can see, he rubs it all over his face.
This whole moment is what I envision every time we drop a new episode.
You rub the iPhone all over your face?
Like a car rolls by, some shitty old box gets thrown out. Someone picks it up and puts it in their face.
Yeah, basically.
But he rubs it all over his face and he goes, it's half eaten.
Again,
tell
just like a podcast episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like a Grindbin episode.
James, can you confirm?
Well, I don't know about the other listeners, but I can confirm that. Yeah.
Yep.
He's had to smell the glove a few times.
So we go to the sheriff. He's in some stakeout house or something. Like he's just fucking hanging out at some. As I put, I'm like, I think this is like some sort of cheerleaders type of scenario where he's got like the whole town bugged with cameras and everything.
Yeah, it's like Fat Wolverine Doomsday Prepper.
Oh, totally.
He does have the Wolverine like mutton chop look going on. But so the assistant comes up here and she's like, hey, I just want to borrow some cables. And then the sheriff's like, oh, okay. Well, hey, what's she doing up there at that lab and everything? She's like, nothing. We're all good. Thank you. Bye. And then he comes over to the car and Sheep Boy just pops out of the seat and scares him. He just goes, ha! And then the sheriff gets frickin' livid over this.
Where he's like, lousy damn weird kids!
And then you think, oh man, he's going to go after them, isn't he? No, nothing happens. So they go to, well, apparently Sheep Boy and Assistant, they're falling in love, right? And they go where all young kids in this town go to fall in love, which is the cemetery. And they go to look around some monument, and there's like a lady hanging out around here.
Right.
This lady, now I call her Job Lady because
her name's Mariposa.
Okay, her name is Mariposa, but at the same time, she just fills any random job they need with the same character. They're like, we need a fortune teller, her. We need a madam for the whorehouse, her. Mm-hmm. We need a bartender, her.
It's like you're assigning blank templates for characters in your RPG game that you're building.
Yeah, it's like everybody else didn't show up, so like, can you just play like 5 characters and be the same lady?
Yeah. Hey, it's all self-aware. Come on.
Yeah.
It is, it's all part of it, man. It's like, man, different people are just a state of mind, okay?
Yeah.
Like, people can be different jobs. You never know. So she's spying on Sheep Boy and Assistant as they're just making out here at the cemetery. The Sheep Boy at first he's telling the assistant, he's like, oh, I really like that sheep fetus. It's like Jesus.
Okay.
He says it. He goes, it was an immaculate conception. Like, I didn't have sex with the sheep or anything. Like, maybe it was like a God thing.
That's buddy, no one said you
maybe
did.
God had sex with that sheep. You ever think about that?
Yeah, because I just woke up and was there. And she's like,
you should have seen the size of that blue chew God was packing.
You want to talk about an elbow Johnson?
So they make out, and then by the way, the Job Lady has some great looks off camera where she's just like, while they're making out. And then she just kind of runs away, right? And then we go to the anthropologist. He's like working on the sheep monster. So this is when we start kind of seeing the sheep monster. It's getting a little bigger. Then we go to the assistant, and now she's seeing a fortune teller who's the same lady who was in the cemetery.
All the women in this town work multiple jobs. And all the men are just dicking around at the dump.
Right? Oh, God.
The assistant's like, well, how do I know you're real? Because basically the fortune teller says, you and the professor have to leave this town. You should leave now. I can see danger. And she goes, well, how do I believe you? And she goes, well, I know you were making out with Sheep Boy. Well, she doesn't even say making out. She knows, I know you made love to Sheep Boy at the cemetery. So something happened off screen.
They were busy making love while that poor sheep drowned.
She leaves. She's like, oh, man, I better go tell the anthropologist about this. And then they go. And then the fortune teller's still there. And Leatherboy just shows up and, all right, they have an evil plan. I'm like, but they haven't really explained the evil. And I'm like, what do him and Silverdale want? Does anybody know?
No.
Your guess is as good as mine.
At this point, I'm just like, okay, so apparently they want to find out about Sheep Boy, and they want to know what they're doing in the lab. That's it. That's all I got.
Hey, so do we.
Yeah. So we are 30 minutes into this movie at this point.
Yeah.
So then we go to the anthropologist and the assistant, and now they're riding in a mine cart.
Now, the POV through the mine is pretty cool.
It is.
I'll give
It's
them that.
like Indiana Jones style.
Yeah, well, I do love this. Is he's working in the mine, right? And by working in the mine, he just gets to the end of the track, just kind of just lightly taps into some loose dirt, where he immediately finds a bunch of fossils.
Like I'm pretty sure that's not how
He's
excavation
like, damn,
works.
he's good. Fuck.
Yeah, he just goes, struck gold on the first strike. There we go.
All those hacks going to school for years.
So he keeps finding bones, but at the same time, the assistant starts freaking out, and like some sound plays, and then all of a sudden there's some gas coming out of the dirt pile. And
I guess.
And there's like ray gun sounds happening while she's like overheating and choking on this gas.
Yeah. And I don't understand what the fuck's going on, but he like basically he goes, "Oh my god, she passed out," and he brings her outside the mine, and he's like, something about phosphorus or something. As I just write in my notes, I go, the anthropologist just babbles on and on and on. Because what he's saying is just it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know about you guys. You tell me.
No, any archaeologists in the audience, let us know. Is this funny? Is it coherent? Does it matter to the plot? Probably not.
We're now at a big parade, right? Well, no, apparently it's a big town festival. We're at Bonanza Days, and there's a parade and Main Street and everything, and Silverdale.
We got horses and we got Shriners running around.
Yeah, you got everybody. And Silverdale and Leatherboy are pissed off as usual. They really they don't like the anthropologist or the sheep boy. And then also Barnstable's here, and now he's also dressed like a cowboy.
A black sheriff?
Yeah.
With multiple ladies under his arm.
He does, yeah. He's definitely taken part of the town goods there.
The town goods. The town goodie bag.
Yeah. He's like, when in Nevada, you know?
Oh, God.
So we're at the festival. And Barnstable's here with a couple ladies under his arm. There's a bottle shooting game, but it's not a game. It's just people shooting real guns at bottles, like on a stand.
You know what? Even if you miss, I'll give you one.
Yeah. And so then people are shooting these with live bullets. Barnstable's shooting at it. And then the sheriff goes, oh, man, you killed my dog.
Well, to be clear, we see the sheriff, like, telling the dog to play dead. He keeps going, all right, you're dead, play dead. And then once the dog lays down, he goes, murderer!
See, I didn't catch that the first time. I thought he literally shot the dog. I was like, how does that even happen?
Oh, no. It's just the most easily debunkable prank.
Yeah, because he's not
dog's
aiming.
Gonna get back up.
He is aiming at bottles, which are straight in front of him. The dog is below him.
Yeah, like...
So it's like...
It might as well have been across the street. Like, you shot my dog over there.
You know what? It might even be safer than across the street. Like, it's literally below the gun. Could never be shot. But apparently he's claiming, it ricocheted off a bottle or something and killed my dog. And all the townspeople are all flipping out and everything. And he's like, Barnstable's like, oh, shit, man, I'm sorry. You know, and he's trying to be nice about it. He's like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shoot the dog. And everybody's still being a dick to the point where after like 5 times, he's like, look, do you want some money? I mean, what do you want? What do you want to make it better? Then eventually he just goes, well, it's just a damn dog, and then walks off.
Oh, my God. Imagine if Linda Blair heard that shit.
Oh, man. That's Savage Streets, too.
She might be putting on the onesie now, man. I don't know.
She's zipping up. She's taking that naked bath hard.
Yeah, you might not want to say anything.
Justice for dogs!
I'm on board. Fucking get him, Linda.
Get him! So here's the thing, guys. We're watching a movie apparently about a sheep monster. Did you expect there to be a dog funeral?
No.
No, but I'm glad they did.
Yeah, there's a full-on dog coffin and a dog funeral, having a dog wake right now.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it wasn't an open casket. And they're saying something about how... I write, this is 40 minutes into the movie, and we're watching a dog funeral. And... I'm just wondering to myself, I'm like, where are we going? Like, where's the monster? What is this?
Mike, the people are the monsters. Ooh.
Oh, holy shit, man. That is deep. So then Leatherboy, also, guys, More about people pulling double duty in this town. Leatherboy is also the town preacher, apparently. So he's given the eulogy for the dog. It ends in Barnstable's show. He shows up. He makes his appearance at the. He's late, but he makes.
Yeah, I was gonna make that point. Like, all right, so you're under the belief that you did shoot this guy's dog, and the whole town is so saddened by this. They're holding a funeral. Your ass walks in late.
Well, he had to settle his bill over at the whorehouse. There were some questions.
Yeah,
you got to go over the itemized receipt, Bobby. You don't know what they're going to charge you for. So.
Right. Yeah, he's like, I didn't cup nothing. What's this charge here for?
What the hell's a service fee? I thought I was already paying for the service.
Maybe it's a tax. They tax you for your pleasure. Like that new was it amusement tax in Chicago now I read about?
Amusement tax?
Amusement?
Exactly.
I gotta pay them to laugh
Can't have
at
too
me?
much fun. So Barnstable, he makes his fashionable late entrance, and everybody's staring at him as they file out of the funeral. It is kind of good, like, I guess if you're going to a funeral, maybe catch it at the end, so you'd have to sit there for the whole thing.
For all the waterworks and the emotion and the unpleasant parts, yeah.
They can't say you weren't there. So
it's like a fireworks show. You want to at least get there for the finale.
Yeah. There we go. It's a real I'll check it out situation, Chris.
Oh, definitely. I hope people just...
They're burying man.
I hope people just... Exactly. I hope people just check out my funeral.
Yeah. They're gonna. Oh, Mike, the funeral's on Friday. I go,
what time's the funeral?
Yeah.
What time's the body go in the casket?
Yeah. What? When are they putting him in the ground?
He's headlining, right?
He's headlining. So they all leave. They're still the townspeople's all still pissed at Barnstable, and the sheriff's there. And Barnstable comes over to try to shake his hand. The sheriff turns his back, and this is when I write my notes. I go, to think that this movie will eventually devolve into a giant sheep attacking the town is just kind of sad. Because at this point, I'm like, I want to kind of see where the rest of this is going.
Yeah,
because it's
sweater
very weird.
It's becoming undone.
And then that's when you learn, like everybody else learns, the dog was just playing dead, because when everybody leaves, the sheriff goes, good boy, come on.
He says, you can't beat a German Shepherd for obedience, right?
And apparently, Bobby, he's taken this playing dead so seriously that he says he's going to ship the dog to his brother or something in a different state. Ship him.
Sent the dog to his cousin's house. If it fits, it ships.
Yeah.
Just put a couple holes in the box and you're good.
Yeah. If it barks, it parks.
So now, apparently the whole plan was to get the entire town to hate Barnstable so they won't sell their property to him. And it works, because we see a montage to like carnival music of Barnstable going around town and nobody selling.
I mean, would you buy from a guy who shot a dog?
No.
And
I mean, well, maybe. It depends what the offer is.
That's true.
And also, he's like cosplaying as local yokel. So not only did he shoot a dog, but he's kind of making fun of you. Like,
that's true.
He's wearing a cow vest and a big hat. You're just like, all right, asshole.
Hey man, it's Bonanza days, okay? Barnstable's just, he's getting into the spirit of the town. I wouldn't fault him for dressing like a cowboy.
Yeah.
I mean, Bobby, when you visited Texas, you wore a big 10-gallon hat and everything, right?
I did, actually. I had a giant belt buckle.
You were walking around Austin, just be like, yep, howdy.
Yep. And being in Austin, I was the only person dressed that way.
Uh-huh. Howdy, gents.
You know where I can get me a sarsaparilla?
Yeah.
It's like freaking Sam Neill from... Or not Sam Neill.
Sam Neill. I would think Sam Neill is a Texan.
Oh, God. I'm leaving it at that.
Yeah.
What was that cowboy movie with Sam Neill? Possession?
Yeah. You know the one.
Omen 3?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Damien dressed as a cowboy, right?
Yeah.
Omen goes west.
Yeah.
It's all for you, Damien.
So Barnstable, to drown his sorrows, goes back to the whorehouse. Everything's a whorehouse, really, because every bar they could get is just the same thing. Like, you want a woman with that? And he's like, sure.
Yeah, everything's a whorehouse if you try hard enough, right, fellas? Oh, that's getting isolated. God damn it. I'm gonna get used.
Yeah, the day you leave this show, I'll go, hey, Bobby, what was that?
Yeah, everything's a whorehouse if you try hard enough, right, fellas? Please, I'll be here with the roaches.
So then Barnstable, he's just enjoying his time, right? With the job lady who also works at this bar, apparently, as the madam and the bartender. They're just having a good time, and then Leatherboy comes in and ruins everybody's fun.
Yeah, he's getting real agitated as Barnstable starts flirting with Lady Pickpocket, and he asks her to come with him to Reno to, quote, pull on a few slot machines together. And Maldo immediately pulls his gun.
Yeah, Leatherboy gets fucking pissed, and he pulls out that gun, and Barnstable goes, look, man, I'm sorry about the dog. I already said it, and I meant it. I even went to his funeral, which I loved.
See, I took a selfie with it.
Yeah. Yeah, he got his souvenir photo with the dog
That's me, my open casket. You know that, right? Open casket selfies.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have the silhouette painter guy, there.
I'm gonna try and use some filters. See if I can make you look like a rabbit.
Chris is gonna have his mandatory Instagram filter that he wants everybody to use. #manfuneral.
Can I do face swap on a corpse?
See, why not?
Oh, you better.
Yeah. Depends if my face is recognizable with what happens to it. Who knows?
Do you think when we're lowering Man into the ground, he's going to pull the Maniac Cop too? Kind of bust his way out of there. But what, instead of throwing a badge on the coffin, what would we throw on there to wake up Man, Bobby?
A brick? I think you guys would fire twice at my coffin just to make sure. Yeah. Wake him up.
I'm tossing in a ground bloomer. just gonna let it spin around on the coffin.
and then a blooming onion.
Yeah, we'll throw our leftovers from Chili's.
From out back.
He might get hungry up there or down there.
Yeah, I'm definitely going down there, believe me. It's no question.
Some snacks for the trip.
Yeah. Here's your blooming onion. Okay, so all Barnstable wants to do is buy Leatherboy a drink, right? He's like, hey, man, let's chill out and have a good time.
Yeah, he's trying to patch things up with him.
And then Job Lady comes over. She's like, come on, Leatherboy, you're being a real dick. Just get out of here. Leave him alone. And so then after Leatherboy leaves, all of a sudden the Job Lady just runs to the back room, and Sheepboy and Assistant are in there, and she goes, you can't hide here anymore. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
When did this happen, and why are they hiding? What did they do?
Haven't they known each other for like a day?
Yeah, they've known each other for a day. They're hanging out at this Fortune whorehouse bar, and apparently they're hiding, but hiding from who?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I don't. You tell me. I don't know.
I don't know.
They didn't.
And you're finally asking the right questions.
Yeah, man. They didn't reveal it in 2 times speed.
No, you did not. It was a fucking trip, man. It was awesome.
I thought when you play it that fast, it might become like you actually start seeing what the movie was trying to do.
I started feeling colors. It was interesting.
It's like the spinning of a zoetrope. You got to get to a certain speed before it starts moving.
Right.
Now, guys, I'd like to say at this point we're 50 minutes in to a movie that is 80 minutes long, and I don't see no fucking sheep monster.
We're rounded third base already.
Cut.
Yeah, here you go.
Yep. There we go. Strike 3.
So now we're in the lab again, and the anthropologist is explaining more. The anthropologist is explaining more science about the sheep monster, and then he just gives up and goes, fuck it.
He believes that those weird gases from earlier are what caused the monster.
And then he goes, fuck it, I'm hungry. Does anybody want to get a sandwich? And then leaves the scene. That's not a joke. He says that. He goes, I'm hungry. I need a sandwich.
Are you sure that wasn't you watching this?
He just gives up kind of on the movie and just leaves the room with Assistant and Sheep Boy, and they're like, well, I guess we make out now because there's nothing else to do. Then, guys, the Town Stunt Show has started. Okay,
that's right. That's right.
The hosts have woken up.
Yep,
and they're attacking the guests.
Bobby, please explain to me this stunt show.
It's like you went to Knott's Berry Farm. Anyone who's been to California, it's just like the people are jumping off shit and firing at each other.
And what do they land on when you fall off that second story balcony?
Was that a mattress?
Yeah, a shitty mattress.
Yeah.
Where the guy kind of like bounces off it almost. All these people are getting shot and they're like piling the bodies into the balcony in front of the whorehouse bar. And Barnstable at one point kind of walks over to be like, did they really kill those people? And the sheriff's like, get out of here, and shoots them off. And then that scene ends. Okay.
All right,
so then we watch some guy, I guess he's in he's in some sort of railroad spike competition, but he's in a competition by himself.
Yeah.
That's symbolic, Mike.
It is very self-aware.
It's usually what they do for a prison sentence, isn't it?
Because what I'm watching is there's like a crowd of like 100 people watching a man do like a John Henry impression. He's like going real fast on a railroad spike, and then everybody cheers as he grabs 2 beers and does like a Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Now give me a hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
That's not how you celebrate.
Well, apparently in Silverdale.
I mean, it's what we do at the end of every episode we record.
Yeah.
Well, definitely. I just bring out two Austin Lights and drown my sorrows.
And I go hard on a railroad spike.
And I bring a toaster in the bathtub.
So then, that scene just ends. And then Barnstable confronts Silverdale and Leatherboy. He's like, hey guys, what's up? And they're like, hey, we don't want any of your Eastern money ruining our Western town. And then, from what I can see, Barnstable brings out a live gun and starts firing it into the air.
Like
just
you do.
Wildly into the air. Yeah. And then guess what? That scene ends. Then we cut to a pie eating contest.
Oh, God.
And kids are throwing pies at Leatherboy as he walks by, and he gets all mad. But then he gets really mad when he sees that Barnstable's in the crowd with 2 more prostitutes just laughing at him.
And he's like, son of a bitch.
Hey, Barnstable, you son of a bitch. And at home, Leatherboy is now shaving, just like the part in Christmas Evil, basically, is he's shaving.
Yeah.
Getting ready for the day.
And having a stiff drink and loading his gun, all in front of the mirror.
Yeah. Then Leatherboy just walks around town at night. Everything's closed except one whorehouse bar, where he walks in and Barnstable and the job later just hanging out. And Leatherboy's like, hey, you know what, Barnstable? Let's have a drink together. This place is closing soon. Why don't we go back to my swanky apartment that has a great view of the canyon, which we'll never get to see the view.
And that is unexpected. You know, it's like 1 minute you think you hate him, and next minute he's going for the dick down.
Yeah. Yeah, he says, let's go hang out and we can drink some fine cognac together.
Mm-hmm. Let's see where this 6-pack takes us.
Yeah, and Barnstable's like, okay. So they go to Leatherboy's apartment. He has it dressed up all fancy. He even has a reel-to-reel.
It's a hell of a bachelor pad.
Yeah.
And then I write, well, this shit gets weirder. Because Barnstable goes something about how he knows Leatherboy because Leatherboy used to live in New York. He used to be some sort of criminal from Wall Street.
It's a long way away from home.
I am just at a complete fucking loss at this point.
So's everybody. And even Barnstable says, yeah, you've got no class at all, Phil, and he gets bottled.
Yeah, this is... He says, you got no class... Well, the reason he says that is because... Leatherboy says, look, I'm working on a deal behind Silverdale's back to sell the land to another
Right. He's like,
developer.
I can get you a piece of the action.
Yeah, and that's when Barnstable, who now becomes the protagonist by default at this point, by saying, hey, I'm not in with your mean guy scheme. I'm the good guy in this movie, I think.
Oh, man. It's what we wrestling fans call a double turd. This is like Steve Austin and Bret Hart.
Yeah, and he pulls the Austin here. He's covered in blood. He just got bottled. He gets bottled by Leatherboy.
But he never tapped out.
No, he didn't. But he's on the ground. He's all bleeding because Leatherboy hit him over the head with a bottle. And then Leatherboy shoots himself in the arm, falls down to the ground, and puts the gun in Barnstable's hand. Cut to, Barnstable is in jail being framed for attempted murder.
Oh, yes.
And he's shirtless, too.
Yeah, Fat Wolverine's like eating lunch in a tank top.
Barnstable is pissed at this point, and then Silverdale comes in and he's like, you're getting framed for attempted murder. And he's like, I want to see my lawyer. And he's like, not in this town, bye. And then all of a sudden, guys, guess what? The police radio is going crazy because there's a crazy transmission and it's coming from Indian Flats.
Yep.
And no, it's okay. Don't worry, guys. The sheep monster is now really big, but nothing happens. He just kind of...
Wait, there's a monster in this movie?
there's like a 7-foot tall sheep monster who just kind of broke out of his confines, but he didn't really. He's just fine. They calm him down and just a little power outage. So false alarm. Oh, but they do pull out the picture, the camera, and get some pictures of him. They get some selfies.
Oh,
With the sheep
lovely.
monster. So.
Yeah.
So then Leatherboy has a group of townspeople all dressed up like Ed Harris from Westworld. And they're all just, apparently they're going to go kill Barnstable or something, and I write, but he's already in jail. So, I mean, didn't your plan already work? But no, they go break into the jail, and Barnstable just, Barnstable's singing as the sheriff's eating, was I right, is like a Flintstone-sized steak dinner. It's like a giant, it's like the steak is so fucking big. It's bigger than the goddamn plate.
It was like the buffet at the casino down the street, probably.
And he's got like a buffet-sized plate. Like he's got a platter, like a serving platter that he's eating a goddamn porterhouse off of or something.
He's a big guy.
And then all of a sudden, as I write, the guys from ISIS show up. Because they're all dressed in black, wearing black hoods. And they break Barnstable out of jail, and the sheriff's just sitting there going like, hey, whatever.
They're the 601. We've mentioned them briefly at the beginning of the movie. And they're kind of like a secret society / militia that's run this town for a really long time. And I'm getting a little concerned in this moment because I really feel like we're about to have a lynching.
Oh, yeah, Bobby, because what do we got? Where do they bring Barnstable? Go ahead. Take it away.
Well,
there's an empty mine shaft.
Yeah.
And what do they got hanging over that?
Tell him, Mike.
Well, there's a noose. And I don't know if we mentioned it before, but Barnstable is a black man.
Yeah.
This is very uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. but thankfully, Barnstable breaks out of this because all of a sudden a car just drives by. Just randomly.
He breaks out really easily, too.
Yeah, he just goes, and then a car drives by and he goes, take me out of here. And they're like, yeah, we need to end this scene real quick. We got in over our heads, guys. So yeah, that ends, right? And then we go to Job Lady and Barnstable, and they're at the lab now. And I write, what in the fuck is happening? By the way, they keep saying it's dark outside, but it's not dark at all. That their day for night, at least in my copy, is like bright as day. The blue filter is not working.
Right. What the fuck are they thinking when they try to pull that shit?
Well, they're like, nobody will know. Because obviously they couldn't afford lights to film at night. Yeah. So they're like, we'll just film it in the day and put a blue filter over it. Nobody will know.
Right.
It's not like somebody's going to do a podcast about this movie 40 years from now.
Right.
So we're back at the lab. Oh, well, the Job Lady and Barnstable go to the lab because apparently the Job Lady is the one who picked him up from the almost hanging. And we go into the lab, and from what I can see, there's 2 large phone booths, and that the sheep monster is in one, and the assistant's in the other, and she's wearing like a mask over her face. And I'm like, are they trying to teach the sheep how to like talk on the phone, or what are we doing?
Yes, this is sheep.
No!
They've immediately got this thing telemarketing.
Oh my god, the whole plan was, finally, you don't have any idea how good these sheep are on the phone. We can finally show all those products.
What would you say to 3 days, 4 nights in Reno, Nevada?
That doesn't sound half bad.
My name, it's Barry.
Well, I did see he had a name tag. They were making him a name tag and everything. Getting the Employee of the Month plaque ready.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, Sheep Boy runs in the lab and he goes, hey, Barnstable's here, and he's hurt. And I go, well, hey, guess what, Sheep Boy? These characters don't know who the fuck that is. They never met him. And I was just laughing my ass off at this point. He runs in and he goes, hey, Barnstable's hurt. And from what I can see, like the professor, he never leave this goddamn lab. He don't know who the fuck that is. So he goes, no, he can't come in here. I don't know who the hell that is. But don't worry. Those guys, what's the gang called?
601.
So the 601 shows up, and they just are going to apparently tear gas Barnstable.
Yeah, they're going to smoke him out.
And then, as I write, the battle at Indian Flats. So I'll go, okay, guys, we are now 63 minutes into a little bit over 80-minute movie, and there's still no sheep monster attack.
Nope.
63 minutes into a 90-minute movie about a sheep monster, we now have guys playing soldier looking for a rich guy who they want to frame for a murder because they didn't want to sell their property to him. That's what the Godmonster, the first fucking name of the title is Godmonster of Indian Flats. And it's about a real estate deal gone wrong.
God damn it. I mean, what they hook, line, and sinker. Would you see a movie called Real Estate Deal in Reno Gone Wrong? Or Godmonster of Indian Flats? There you go.
But you know what? Here's the thing. Why don't you just tell them you don't want to sell? Do you need the murder framing and everything else? Or is this just like, what are we doing?
Right. Yeah.
So, no, they fire tear gas, right? And then the sheep monster breaks out of his phone booth. And then he finally attacks. He kills a soldier, but by killing a soldier, he just kind of pets him lightly on the chest, and blood appears.
Well, he's got that one long arm, so.
He does. He has like one short arm, one really long arm, and he kind of pets the guy. He falls down, and then all the Battle of Indian Flats stops. They stop fighting each other. Like, guys, let's stop fighting because the sheep monster's here and he killed our friend. And then they just look at his dead body and they go, "Wait, did the sheep monster get away? Oh, fuck!" And then that's it. That's the scene.
Yeah.
But no, it gets better because the assistant girl who works with the professor goes, "All right, I'm leaving the movie now," and just runs away.
She Forrest Gumps it.
Yeah, she really just goes, "Bye," and then leaves the movie and starts, as you said, James, Forrest Gumps it and just runs and runs and runs. And she runs for a while until she encounters the sheep monster, and she calms him down, and she's like, "All right, just follow me. You're going to be safe." And then Sheep Boy just runs in and goes, "Monster!" and throws a fucking brick at its head. And she goes, "What the fuck are you doing? I got the monster and everything was fine." He's like, "No, we got to get the fuck out of here." And then nobody goes with Sheep Boy. They both just run away. Everybody just runs away, and you're just left like, what are we doing? Maybe the best scene in this whole movie is these children are playing in a backyard, okay? And they're just having the time of their lives, guys. And they're talking about how dumb the adults are for believing in monsters. And maybe my favorite line of the whole movie is when a little girl says, "These are some good hot dogs."
Reminds me of the time where you took Molly to see my band play one night, and you said after we had played and the show was over, she goes, "Well, at least the hot dogs were good."
Because that was a rough show.
that was a rough night. That was
one I should have said the old "I'll check it out."
Yeah, I wouldn't have blamed. I would have said I would have checked it out.
You did, and you were on stage, which made it really awkward.
Yeah, it was.
So no, the hot dogs are great, right? But while they're talking, the sheep monster is just sneaking up behind them, and they don't notice the frickin' 9-foot tall sheep monster with a giant arm.
Snuffleupagus slowly creeping out of the woods.
And so all of a sudden they just look behind them. He goes, "Ah!" and then they just run. And that's the whole scene. The best scene of the movie, guys.
Yeah, that's the one they use in all the trailers.
Yeah, the trailer is just that scene, I think.
Yeah, the Agfoot trailer is just that scene followed by the next scene with the gas station, and then they just say "Godmonster."
So, Bobby, the monster attacks a man at a gas station. Please explain how amazing of a scene this is.
This panicking yokel grabs a butane torch
at a gas station
to protect himself from this Godmonster at a gas station, and he blows the sumbitch up.
Well, the monster he just tosses over a gas pump, right? He pushes over a gas pump, gas goes everywhere, and then for no reason at all, the yokel just chucks the torch into the gas.
I think it's smart to know when you're outmatched. He's like, "You know what? I'm going out on my own terms."
Outmatched, outclassed, everything.
It was a way out. Yep. I mean, it really was. As he just goes, and throws it into the gas. Boom! It explodes.
In Aliens, when Vasquez and Hudson pull the pin on the grenade, and they just hold on to it, they're like, "Fuck you, aliens."
Yeah.
Did you guys also notice? I think Silverdale was the fireman. I swear to God, he was also the fireman.
Oh, Jesus.
Everybody has to have a job in this town. He drew that straw.
And even though he's the benefactor, he's not afraid to put out a fire every now and then.
I would have liked to have seen the job raffle.
Maybe it's just an undercover boss situation.
Yeah. He's got like a rubber face on.
So a gang of townspeople now.
Copperdale.
So now a gang of townspeople are on horseback looking around for the monster. Like, the movie's changed, guys. We're looking for a monster now. Maybe.
And he is slowly and gingerly making his way up Sugarloaf Mountain.
Yeah. And anthropologist goes, hey, guys, we're not going to shoot him, so just tranquilize him. And they're like, yeah, okay. And then they surround the monster.
And some guy, like one of these guys, keeps yee-hawing and yipping. Everyone else is like, game face. This is a very serious thing. A man has died, and this dude's practically firing guns in the air.
Then they lasso the giant monster.
And the way this monster puppet works is like, it looks like it's choking to death on these lassos.
Yeah.
Like his tongue's flopping out. He's looking into the camera like, somebody help me.
And then he starts emitting the same strange gas from the mine.
I was like, is this thing gonna melt?
What? And then the anthropologist comes over and he tranks him. And I go, well, guess that's settled. And I go, no, seriously, it's settled. That's it. That's it, guys.
It's a champagne wrap on the Godmonster.
In fact, no, they gave him a fucking Gatorade wrap. You know it in that fucking outfit.
They poured it right on the mascot costume.
And they're like, oh wait, no, we got one more scene. We got the third act. So we cut to Silverdale. He's riding in a fancy car, and Barnstable's in there, and he's telling Barnstable how he used them the whole time to get the townspeople to sell. Silverdale says, I used you to get the townspeople to sell me the mines, and now I'm gonna make the town great, and I'm gonna reopen the mines, and I even got the property from the anthropologist, so now all of Silverdale is mine. And then that's it. And he's driving to a big speech to give the townspeople, where they welcome him with open arms, and he gets up on the podium, and they're applauding him, and he's like, hey, we conquered the monster, the lives of the town are back to normal, and now we're going to use that sheep monster as a tourist trap to make money. And everybody's like,
we're bringing back the mines.
Yeah, and that's when people...
They're going to get your jobs back.
And these people are very, very persuadable, because all it takes is Sheep Boy just standing in the audience going, boo. So people go, wait, yeah, boo this man.
Immediately escalates.
Everybody already has 2 jobs. Nobody really wants a 3rd job.
Yeah, they're like, fuck getting black lung, man. I'm not going to that mine. And so
I'm already the town doctor and a stripper.
Exactly.
Yeah, imagine that job raffle pulling stripper. You're like, oh, fuck. And they're like, you'll be doing a lot of it.
Whoops, snake eye. Sorry. Easy come, easy go, Doc.
Yep.
So yeah, then all of a sudden he goes, yeah, boo. Silverdale's actually the bad guy. And the town goes, okay, boo him. And so then everybody starts going crazy and throwing garbage everywhere. And they like try to break the sheep out of its cage.
Well, yeah, because he tries to calm things down with a little shock for him. He goes, feast your eyes on the 8th wonder of the world. And the second he shows it to him, he pulls the tarp. Someone yells, kill it!
So then, yeah, they start attacking it, and then he gets his gang to run the townspeople off.
And he shouts, make them pay!
Make them all pay! And he just says it over and over. And I write, this thing is taking very hard turns.
Yeah.
Just left and right and center. I'm like, what the fuck?
And now good people on both sides have erupted into violence.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden, Leatherboy just gets shot. just fucking randomly shot. And Silverdale's giving some crazy speech now.
He's like doing a full-on like hellfire and brimstone monologue, like it's the end of the world. And then the townspeople take the truck that the Godmonster's on, and they push it down a hill, and it explodes.
Yeah, it barely like taps the bumper. It's like a Pinto going off.
And Barsible's just walking away, like he's miles from them now, and you just hear. You can see Silverdale screaming at him. He goes, I beat you, Barnstable. And Barnstable just kind of waves his hand at the camera and goes, fuck it. And that's it. The movie just ends.
Yeah.
Oh, well, hold on. It cuts to a shot of sheeps eating the sheep monster remains. And now apparently they're all sheep monsters too.
Oh, I didn't know that was them eating the sheep monster's remains. I thought that was the reveal of a new embryo. Oh, because the sheep monster exploded on a truck. He wouldn't be over there getting eaten by the sheep. This is a second monster. This is like when a second Godzilla showed up after the oxygen destroyer killed the first Godzilla. Did I lose everybody?
So what you're telling me though is that Sheep Boy and the assistant had a little three's all right with them.
I think so.
With another sheep. And now we got another embryo.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the movie's over, guys. It just ends. It just starts pulling the credits on screen. They're like, all right, get the fuck out.
Go on, get out of here.
It'll be over.
What are you still doing here?
So, guys, let's go around here. James, do you recommend this movie?
No.
So it's a no for James. Care to elaborate?
Was it a tough watch for you, James?
Well, honestly, every time the doctor spoke, I just zoned out. So I feel like I missed about 3/4 of the movie.
Oh, you didn't miss anything.
It was honestly that.
I'm right there with you on that shit. When he said phosphorus, I was like, nope. Yep. It was just like in Dogs when they had that Professor Deason, and he brings up pheromones. I'm like, nope. No, I'm out. I'm out of this.
Sir, can you define a pheromone?
Nope. No, I will not. I'll tell you what I can do. Fast forward this movie.
No.
So, Bobby, do you recommend Godmonster of Indian Flats?
I do. Dun dun dun. Yeah, this is that kind of MST3K level crap that needs to be watched. Honestly, this is ideally not watched sober. You know, maybe you might want to crossfade a little bit before you go ahead and take this one in. I think that helps a lot, but it might make more sense that way. But this is I think this makes a much better group viewing than it does alone.
Yeah, probably.
You know, you get a bunch of people together, and I bet a screening would be great. I think that's the best possible scenario to watch.
I agree.
This. By yourself, I can see it getting a little old.
So you'll be over at the Frida when this is being screened next time.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm all about it. Be throwing my balls of wool at the screen.
Cotton, Bobby.
Oh right, sorry, my cotton balls, straight from the sheep.
Chris, man.
Yep, I literally came home from work, hadn't even seen the movie, and had about an hour and a half to power through this film, and I watched it 2 times speed, and it was delightfully incomprehensible. So I say this is a yes. This is a recommend at 2 times the speed.
At 2 times speed. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I absolutely love this movie. Actually, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sure you guys were expecting me to say that.
Yes.
This game. Yeah. No, I really, really did enjoy it because I thought it was so fucking insane. Did I say like a surrealist grindhouse movie?
Yeah.
It is very weird and it's horrible. And it might have been self-aware, but it's still horrible. But for me, in a good way. But talking about it again, I'm like, I don't know if I'd watch that again.
It's an experience you'd recommend, but only if you've never been through it before.
Yeah, because now that we're talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, all this shit happened. It wasn't as good as when I was watching it. So, but yeah, it's on a beautiful Blu-ray here, though. 4K restoration for a movie that probably didn't need that.
Yeah, the American Genre Film Association, AGFA, is Archive. That's the second A. Hey guys, that's kind of their specialty. They take the worst stuff and give it the best treatment. And I'm really glad that there are different labels out there doing that.
Yeah, and it also includes a full extra movie on it, which is The Legend of Bigfoot. I have not watched that, but it's on the Blu-ray. So guys, you hear that sound?
Oh my god.
Ah, fuck.
Wait, you guys hear that too?
I thought that was just coming from James's side.
Guys, how do you think Bobby and DeVito fit in the world of Godmonster of Indian Flats? Who wants to go first?
I could jump in. Well, as you know, we ended by seeing the new embryo, and when the sack finally opens up, I think everyone is shocked to see that the wool or cotton, if you will, is a strange shade of orange. And I think that the doctor is horrified. He's like, "There's something wrong with this one. This one can't be ever seen by human eyes."
Yeah.
And so he takes it out back and he puts it in the back of a yellow van that drives it away. And this ends up being an origin story.
Oh wow!
And the driver of the van's like, "Oh, I'll take really good care of it for you."
Well, I think remember how the job lady was hanging out in the cemetery?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we know it was Bonanza Days, right?
Bonanza Days.
Well, I think a little two boys from the big city of LA came through town. And they had themselves a little bit of a wild time to the point where they need to dispose of those bodies somewhere. And she was just making sure that that orange poof went all the way under the ground before she went off. And she saw the assistant and Sheep Boy making out there, and she got a little worried that maybe somebody would find out, but then she realized, nobody gives a fuck. And that was it.
I think Bobby DeVito got enticed at the medicine of the early, the Western days, Bonanza days, if you will, and they're thinking that back then, they thought back then the cure-alls actually worked, which is why everything got regulated, because they didn't want competition for that stuff. So they go into the what have you medicine shop, and they start drinking all the snake oils and all the medicines. They just stare at each other's boners, and nothing's happening. And DeVito goes, Bobby, I think we did something. And he grabs his chest, and he has a heart attack, and Bobby has to give mouth-to-mouth on him. And then DeVito wakes up, and it says, Bobby, is it hard? And Bobby goes, I don't think so. Let me die in peace, Bobby. And he just dies.
James, you got one for us?
Yeah, I do. I think that Bobby and DeVito heard about this amazing brothel in Nevada. So on the way over, but there's a horrible accident. The van explodes. And their bodies get fused together, and people think that the sheep monster attack, but it's really just Bobby and DeVito.
Oh man, I love that.
That's good. That's really good.
Well, James, do you have anything else to say to the Grindbin audience before this episode's over? Do you have anything to promote?
Nope, we lost him.
Not really.
Well, thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed being on the show.
Definitely, it was a pleasure.
And of course, you're always welcome back. Anybody is, as we always said.
Yeah,
People take me seriously now when I say you can be on the show, and it's true. James is here right now, and he had the best van theory out of all of us.
I have to say, yeah. James, you can have my spot. You win.
Well, just so you know, man says that to every guest.
Oh, boy.
After every podcast, he goes, you can have my spot. He says that to random people on the street. So.
That's how I got stuck here.
Yeah. I handed Robbie a microphone and said, enjoy.
Yeah. But man, he also said, is it a way out? And he walked away. So. But Bobby, where can everybody find us?
Well, as always, you can like us on Facebook, hate us on Twitter, and be indifferent to our Instagram. You can check us out on our website, grindhousefilm.com. Check us out on iTunes. Give us a review, preferably 5 stars, but, whatever you feel, be honest about it. And what am I leaving out here? Oh, our Patreon. You can check out our Patreon for as low as $2 a month and check out the mini bin where all kinds of special things happening. You can vote on our upcoming movies. You could be like James and end up on the damn show.
Yeah, and James had recommended the movie Hellbent to us as a
which
Patreon.
I recall we all really enjoyed.
I did.
Yeah, well,
for those of us that saw it, yeah.
Yeah, man enjoyed it. It starred
did.
Jason Bateman.
That's right.
He played in a band with a keyboard and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And James, of course, you're welcome back. And I believe you got another pick for us coming up because you're a patron here. So if you want to join us for that one, of course you can.
Yes.
Oh, definitely. Maybe I'll get a better mic or something.
Not a bad idea. What is the pick?
Oh man, you're putting him on the fucking spot. Ask him what his pick is right now.
Fuck yeah, I am. Whip it out, James. What does it look like?
What was it?
Whip it out.
He's about to send a dick pic.
Oh, Jesus.
It's all right. We don't need it now.
I can see on the Patreon we just lost a patron. So it was nice having you here, James.
Bobby, start the van.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Dad, I made the team.